Hi, good evening. Happy Monday at Taskmaster and I are here for our Monday night LEO Glossary update. And unfortunately, right now, Leo isn't working, so we can't see the thread cast. So, anyway, let's get right into it. So, how are you doing tonight, Task?
All right. The site's having issues, so that is something that hopefully by the time we're done with this show, they will have the server issues resolved, but we will have to wait and see.
So, what else is going on? How many comments did they get in the party room yesterday?
I don't know. I've been working on different things. I had a list of actors that I had to go through. So finally, the videos are starting to show up again. So that was a step forward. The party room without videos is kind of hindered, if you
Mm-hmm.
will. So that was a big thing. But we still don't have polls, which is unfortunate. And I mean, it the user experience is very difficult right now, as we talked about last week and really the week before.
Yeah, I wanted to I got a playlist put up yesterday for the first time in I don't know how long.
Hmm.
And then I got some recipes put in. I noticed that when I like I can't if I go to the main thread for the container, I can't see the videos underneath it right away. I kind of have to copy the link for the container and put it in another browser tab, and then the comments will show up. But it doesn't show up as having any comments under, like when where it says comments, there's like zero.
Another workaround is control minus sign, make on your desktop, make it smaller, and then hit it bigger, and it'll work. I get that in the party room for some reason when that's set up. I see it in other threadcasts, but I don't see it in there. And then when you scroll down, it's spotty as hell. So there's bugs, and supposedly they're addressing them, but we it appears they're very slow. I mean, maybe they're addressing stuff that I'm not familiar with, but the stuff that I'm focusing on, it's not being addressed, um, at least
Right.
up to this point. Cal keeps threading that they're fixing all these bugs, and again, maybe they are, and they may
Uh-huh.
just be bugs that don't affect me or are not in the areas that I happen to be in. But there's a few key things that I'm looking for and still waiting on, and you know that's that's where that stands.
Yeah, there must be a lot of bugs that don't impact what we're doing, but they impact.
Yeah, I mean, I there may be stuff tied to to the wallets. There may be stuff tied to the communities, which I don't spend a lot of time in. I don't know.
Hmm.
Uh, yeah, there's a lot of different features on there that I don't necessarily dive into. Um, and then there's also mobile versus desktop, and maybe some of the things are problematic on mobile that are not necessarily problematic on desktop. I don't know if you use on your mobile. Do you use Keychain in the browser there, or do you use the mobile app?
I just started using the mobile app. I was using Keychain in the browser, and then I didn't even know there was a mobile app. A message came up on the screen saying, "Oh, do this on mobile." I'm like, or download the mobile app. I'm like, "Oh wow, I forgot there was even a mobile app that for Leo."
Yeah, I don't know if they give it a ton of support. There is, and somebody posted a poll today. Now I went to mobile. I thought it maybe was on mobile, but I went to mobile through Keychain. Didn't work, but that's like doing it through a browser. So maybe later you want to try through your mobile app. I don't have the mobile app installed, so I can't test it. But maybe try testing a poll on mobile, see if it works. It might not. Who knows? But somebody got a poll up today, and I don't know. I don't know
Huh.
if they did it through Peak D, but how would they do it? I don't see how they would do it through Peak D.
I don't see that either. No. Let me see if I can do that right now, just for the hell of it. Oh wait, it's not working now. Why am I even trying that now?
That's a good point too.
Never mind.
Unless the mobile app is working, but I doubt the mobile would. In fact, people are posting that they're getting the same error message on mobile, so it's not working.
So where are we anyway with like music on Leo? I mean,
No polls, no music on Leo. It's that simple. I mean, it's. I mean, theoretically, people could post. I haven't checked the search. I don't know if you have. There was a problem a while back, and I don't know if it was resolved. When you would go into and you, let's say you hashtag music on Leo in your search, you'd only get 5 responses. So anything below that was not showing up. So it's like, okay, this is pretty useless. So, I mean, if people are going to post songs without polls, that's fine. I don't think we're ever going to have where you can add a poll to an existing thread. So that means at some point, those of us who are interested are going to have to go back through our own stuff and do new threads on those songs with polls once polls returns. But yeah, again, that's, I mean, it could be done. But I think, and I wrote about this. When you look at digital platforms, and I wrote a long article about this because as I've been diving deeper into network science and digital platforms and digital platform business model, things of that nature, what we see on Hive and Leo, everything's more users, more users. We need more users. Everybody goes to X for more users. And that's not how it works. That's the cart before the horse. And what you have is the idea is interactions. You want more interactions. Now, more people will bring more interactions, natural. But when you look, and the best example that I can use that most people are familiar with is LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn started as the Facebook for professionals, if you will.
Right.
It was a professional connection site. And that's all it was. You connected with other professionals. You could follow them. You could see who looked at your profile. You wrote your profile. You did that stuff. And it was like the Facebook for professionals. So that was the first layer. And one of the keys for digital platforms is layering. So what did LinkedIn do? They had all this data from professionals. So the second thing they did is they started to bring together recruiters and job seekers. And of course, this was part of their monetization because then they start to charge for it and take a cut and all that good stuff. So now you have a second layer. So you have all the people on LinkedIn who are connecting, but then you have people who lost their job or maybe are open to another job, hate their job, whatever. So now they can utilize this service to, and recruiters can target people, and LinkedIn will go through their database. And so a recruiter shows up and says, hey, I want somebody who's a CPA, 25 years or more experience, blah, blah, blah. And it can go through its database and give these people a list of people to go after. So that was the second layer. So what's the third layer? The third layer is all of a sudden they made it like Medium, where all of a sudden all these professionals could write articles about their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you had all this expertise from the field of finance, the field of accounting, the field of real estate, the field of manufacturing, all these different fields, medical, you name it. So you have all these professionals who work in these different fields, sales, marketing, inventory, logistics. So now they have the ability to write articles. And of course, people have the ability to read these articles. Now, I've never connected with people. I've never used LinkedIn. I've never used LinkedIn for a job. But I have read articles from LinkedIn. So I am a user of LinkedIn
Mm-hmm.
without being a user. Now, I don't have any interest in logging in and having an account, logging in and doing all that stuff. But
Right.
I could. But they still capture me at that third level, even though they don't capture me at the first or second level. And this is the point. And in this article, I said, I use Peak D and 3Speak as the same as the example. And I said very simply, what can you do on Peak D or 3Speak today that you could not do 3 years ago?
Well, you can have on Peak D, you can have there's like a messaging, isn't there? There's like an instant messaging or private messaging thing on there.
Yeah, and that went up 3 years ago. Okay, so they added private messaging. What else have they done? They just recently added polls. So in 3 years, they've added 2 features. The point being, why aren't these project teams, and more importantly, why aren't the user base, the owners, the people with these tokens? This is Web3. We're not users, we're owners.
Mm-hmm.
What are they doing to build this interactions? What are they doing to layer stuff on here? And this is the model I've been running for 6 months at least on LEO. This is the idea of news on LEO. This is the idea of music on LEO. And I'm going somewhere with this. Trust me, I'm just not going.
I know.
This is the idea of stickability. This is the idea of trying to motivate people to come up with ideas and stop being brainless twits. I mean, ideas are fantastic. Are people that stupid that they don't have ideas? I don't know. Probably they don't know how to think, because in our cultures, in most of our economies, we're just supposed to be obedient boobs and just say, yeah, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. Okay, I'll go sit at my desk and make the phone calls or whatever. It's like people don't know how to think. And so when we look at music on LEO, these songs add another layer of interaction.
Right.
So music on LEO does add another layer of interaction. So there's a second layer. But by adding a poll to it, there's a third layer, because now people can vote on the poll. So now you can listen to the song, or watch a video, whatever you want to do. You can vote on the poll. You can comment on it. You can vote on the thread itself if you want. And you can rethread it. These are all things that can be done with one single thread. And so this was the idea of these sticky polls, where I said, what if we have 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 sticky polls? Now, for this to work, what the project team, the development team is going to need to do is going to need to get the recommend engine going, so that if you listen to a Van Halen song, you get a suggestion that's something similar, i.e. another song.
Mm-hmm.
Probably something related to Van Halen. But now you go there. First off, on Threads, you don't get anything. But if you go on a blog post and you look at the Beatles page, you'll get a recommend for something to deal with cryptocurrency. It's like, what the hell? So that needs improvement, and that's fine. Cal's mentioned that it needs to be redone. So that's not operational in this sense. But what happens when we have hundreds of thousands of polls in there, and now people can just they go to a poll, But then all of a sudden they get this recommendation to do other polls. And if there's enough of them in there, you can have a polls page. These are all things that we can start to tie together that increases utility. Notice I haven't said anything about more users. It's what interactions do the people who are here every day do? Now, what happens? Maybe a lot of people don't give a shit. I never gave a shit about Twitter. I still don't give a shit about Twitter. The only thing I ever post on Twitter is the Lions Den shit on Friday, the Threadcast and the Spaces, and I post a blog post every day on there. That's it. So outside of that, I don't do anything on Twitter. I didn't do anything before Twitter. I only set up a damn Twitter account because a couple people kept harping on me to do it on Hive. So I never gave a crap. So threads would not be of interest to me. But now music, well, I have an interest in music. I always have. I've listened to a lot of songs on YouTube. I never had Pandora or Spotify. I don't give a crap about them. But YouTube, I've always had plenty of music to listen to. And that's now starting, technical issues aside, to develop on Leo.
Mm-hmm.
That's the point. So now you can attract people with, and again, I've wanted to get to certain levels before we sit there, and then we can take some of the people and send them on to X and say, do you realize there's 10,000 songs on INLEO on Threads? Then we can start sharing some of the playlists. Then we can start sharing lists of the playlist. Then we can start sharing the singles pages. Then we can start sharing all of that stuff. And that has value. And all of a sudden, if you go to the singles page and you go through all the singles page that we've captured, between all the artists, we were almost to 5,000 songs on all those individual singles pages. So that's just one thing. There could be thousands of them. And I give Bradley Arrow credit. I mean, Bradley Arrow started with this memes on Leo or meme on Leo, and he started putting polls on there, funny or not. Again, stickiness, activity, interactions, the ability to interact with something. It was a great idea. Adam Barrett with his travel and books on Leo and all that stuff. Great idea. People can interact with it.
One of the things I was thinking about today when I was going to work is, how we talk about, not wanting the like autoplay on the playlist or whatever because we want the page views.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. But like if I'm in my car and want to listen to music, I can't be futzing around with like trying to click on songs when I'm driving. That was like, I mean, it'd be cool to listen to music on Leo in the car, but then again, I can't be clicking on posts or clicking on threads with songs in them when I'm trying to drive. That's that's like to me the only drawback of
and a workaround. And I understand it. And again, out of my control, it'd be great if they built some type of autoplay into, let's say, a playlist where you could develop. But so what do you do? I mean, there is stuff up there that came from a playlist, but then you're relegated or you're stuck listening to the other person's playlist because you will click on, let's say, a YouTube song. Click on a YouTube song, and okay, maybe that playlist had YouTube in it, and you like the song. But then all of a sudden, the playlist had a whole mixture of other stuff, and it was a mixture of 70. It was just a mixture of stuff, and there's some hip hop in there. There's some 70s disco. There's some country. It may not be, and so you're listening to this, and you're like, okay, cool. So you hit play, you start driving, and you listen to YouTube song, and you're enjoying it, and the song ends. Okay, then the playlist is not Leo driven, it's YouTube driven, and
right.
it's by the person who set up, the one who took the song, where the song was taken from. And so now all of a sudden you get Run DMC, and you're like, I don't want this. Or you get Shania Twain, you're like, I don't want this. Or you get some, techno music, and you're like, what the hell's this? So that's the only thing I know. The way things are shaped now to get around that is to load longer stuff. So on YouTube, there are albums. There's not only playlists that are whole albums, but you can go and find the whole album. Like it's whatever it is, like 50 minutes, the video, and it's just the album. Or you get a concert. So you pick the Bee Gees, and you got a 2 hour concert. And the only thing I could suggest is load those up and put them in a playlist, or we could create a concerts page if we wanted. And so we have these different concerts, Bee Gees, May 2000, Bee Gees, Oakland, February 1977, YouTube, Dublin, 1986. I mean, we could do pages of that if we wanted. And then you're just sitting there and you say, okay, I'm on my way to work. Okay, I'll listen to this YouTube concert. And so, let's say you have a 50-minute drive to work. For 50 minutes, you're listening to a YouTube concert, or if there is some type of mixed song, or some of these radio broadcasts that they stream through YouTube, we can post them on Leo, and then you're going through the Leo front end. I mean, there's a few different ways to work around this. None of them ideal, but we are stuck with what we are stuck with.
Yeah, I used to have literally a CD case that was like this thick, and it had all my CDs in the sleeves. And when I took a bunch of stuff to Goodwill one time, that went with the stuff that got donated. So I lost all these CDs that I used to have. I was just like, I'm still trying to look for them, hoping that they didn't actually get taken out of my trunk, because that was like a long time of getting all those CDs together.
Yeah, but they're worthless. It's like the place I was just at. She has like 6,000 records. It's like, throw that crap out.
Who has 6,000 records?
I don't know if 6,000, but there's records all over the place. It's like, throw that crap out. You got all this shit on Pandora. I mean, she even set up a turntable. I'm like, are you sick? She started playing something. I'm like, okay, now go play the song on Pandora on your not Pandora, on what the hell's it called, on
Siri?
Amazon. Amazon Alexa.
Well,
And it's like she played the song off the radio, off the record. Then she played the Alexa, and it's like the Alexa is like 10,000 times better because it's a digital song. It's a digital version, and it's like, throw that crap out. It's like you lost all those CDs, and it's like, big deal. They're all on YouTube. I mean, so
yeah,
it's like,
truthfully, I really don't commute. My commute is, Roy was telling me this afternoon when I got home. He said it takes you just under 10 minutes to get, back and, back home from work. I'm like, well, that's an easy commute.
yeah. Well, I mean, shit. If that's the case, all you need to do is go on to INLEO and go to the Leonard Skinner page and play this Freebird song. I mean, that's like a 9.5 minute version anyway. So there's your commute. I mean, I understand music on Leo is not perfect. It's not a perfect solution,
No.
and there's features missing, but it starts the process, and it's
Right.
something that we could do. And this is the problem. We need dozens and dozens of these different initiatives that people are adding to, so that there's things for people to do. And I don't care how corny, how quirky, how weird, it doesn't matter. It's everything that's posted when polls work should have a poll on it. Every picture, every meme, every video, every documentary, everything that people put up should have a poll, because that adds to the value. you know, and it can be something simple: 5 star, 3 star, 1 star, 3 star, 2 star, 1 star. Doesn't have to be anything,
Yeah,
you know,
nothing.
nothing extravagant. But this is what generates interaction. And the more stuff in the library and the more layers, and this is just from the from those of us in the community. The development team, the project team, has the same responsibility. And we may start to see something with this Maya integration where finally there's a service on Hive that can be marketed. And the UI and the decks. Okay, there is something that you can start to market. There's something that people on Leo, they're going to want to convert their Leo to USDC. Maybe some people want to go from Bitcoin to Leo. Who knows what people want to do. Hell, they can use, from what we understand, to go from um, Bitcoin to Ethereum. I mean, they could use it like any other deck. So uh, the key is to start building these things that your present users start to utilize. And through that, you have more things to attract newer people. And that's what's being missed. That's what Cal, that's what Eric, that's what all these we need to market. That's what these people fail to understand. They do not understand the basics of digital platform business modeling. They do not understand the basics of network science, and it really is a travesty. And Hive will not succeed until somebody does it. And how somebody's going to do it is just they're going to back into it. Cal may get lucky and back into it because he's certainly not talking to me about it. And if he was, I'd tell him exactly what I thought. But on the last AMA, he said, "Oh, everything revolves around new users. Leo Premium revolves around new users." No, Leo Premium revolves around building value for Leo Premium, which means adding more shit to Leo Premium.
Right. More utility.
More utility. And if I was him, as soon as this Maya thing is fixed, is completed, I go full blown Leo AI. I mean, obviously he has to do the debugging, but everything else, Leo AI, roll that out. And I'd get it out in whatever form it is. Integrate it in, get it working, get it tested, get it on labs, and start getting it fed. And you build it into premium if you want at a certain point. Or maybe build it in right off the bat. Who gives a crap?
Yeah, because that stuff costs money to develop.
Yeah, it costs money to develop, and it costs money for every search. So I mean, every query. So there is a cost to it. And again, fine, charge me 5 more HBD a month. I have no problem with that. I mean, it's. I know people bitch. I know a lot of people can't afford it, but sorry about your luck. There's a cost associated with it. Okay, I have no problem paying 5 HBD to help cover the cost.
Yeah, if it's something you're going to use.
Yeah, I mean, Grok supposedly was rolled out on X, and every whatever the hell they call it, Twitter Blue or whatever the hell the name of the premium Twitter account, premium X account, uh, got Grok 1.5 or whatever the hell they rolled out. Good for them. There's a value add. I don't know how good Grok is. From what I read, some articles say this thing's much better than ChatGPT. Other people say it's garbage. So I don't know who to believe. And I really don't care because I'm not on X, so I'm certainly not giving Elon $20 a month or whatever the hell he charges. And I'm not going to use Grok. But unless somebody forks it, because the last version is open source now. So what's the difference? It's if you charge 5 or 10 HBD for Leo AI, charge 5 or 10 HBD for that. And again, if people don't want to pay for it, then people don't want to pay for it.
Right.
And if you can't afford it, well, tough. I mean, people bitch and moan, but Tough. I mean, it's everybody wants something for nothing, and
There's no free lunch.
yeah, it's what the fuck world do you live in? Why do you feel? And I'm saying you in general. I'm not
Right,
speaking
right.
for
I know.
you, but why do you feel entitled to everything? If they build a feature that's a premium feature and you don't want to pay for it, don't pay for it. Fine. Well, I can't afford it. So tough. That's life. I'd love to have a Ferrari. I can't afford one. And I can't even afford the damn tune up, let alone the Ferrari.
Right?
Sorry about my luck. I'd love to have a penthouse overlooking the ocean. Can't afford that. Sorry about my luck. I mean, it's like, what world do these people live in? That it's like, I want that. Well, tough shit. Get your ass going and earn something. Go make yourself worthwhile. And, this is where it comes back to, and I mentioned you got to watch Margin Call. You have to, if you haven't seen that, you have to watch Margin Call. Sit down and watch it. Jeremy Irons in that is
Well, I
phenomenal.
like him anyway, so yeah.
Jeremy Irons is phenomenal. Kevin Spacey's great in that too. Um, watch Margin Call, and the last it's not the last scene, but one of the last scenes when he's eating and he's talking to Kevin Spacey, and he goes through all the crashes in the stock market. And he goes, 1864 and 1882 and 1896 and 1929. And he goes through them all. And 1988 or 1986. Oh, I lost my ass on that one. And he goes, listen, the numbers change, the haves and the haves nots. The numbers change, but the percentage always stays the same. And it's true. And what we have, if you study history, if you study financial and monetary history, we have what was called the robber barons, which is a bullshit name anyway. The idea that these people only got wealthy because of dirty business tactics. Well, they did engage in dirty business tactics, but they were successful because they really took efficiency to an enormous level. You know, steel, if it was still priced in $1860, at the 1860 price, would not have sold anywhere near the amount of steel in 1910 if it was still priced at the way it was in 1860. Just would have been too costly. Same with oil. I mean, Rockefeller streamlined and refined the process. But you had a very small, select few, a handful of wealthy people. Fast forward 60 to 100 years, depending on what time frame you're looking at, and we get the microprocessor semiconductor era followed by the internet. And look at how many multi-billionaires and multi-millionaires the internet created. A shitload more. Now, it's still a small percentage. Of course, we're a much larger population globally than we were 100 years ago. But there are a lot more millionaires, a lot more billionaires created from the internet. Now, if we look at Web3, my view is Web3 is going to create even more billionaires, more millionaires, and it may even create some trillionaires. Who the hell knows? As compared to the internet era, there's going to be more of them because it keeps expanding. It keeps spreading out. New innovation comes along. And you look at the largest cap companies by market cap. You have Microsoft, which is a semiconductor OS digital era computing era company. You have Apple, which started as a computer company, but really made it as a digital platform in consumer electronics. Amazon, digital company. Google, digital company. Mm-hmm. Saudi Aramco, which is an oil company. So that's the only one in the top, I think the top 8 that isn't digital. Then you have Facebook in there, Tesla's in there, which Tesla is moving into a technology company. I mean, how many millionaires have those companies created over the last 30 years? a crap load. Um, so how many will Web3 applications create? I have a feeling a crap load. And hopefully Leo creates a shitload of them. We'll have to see. There certainly is the potential there. Um, $10 Leo. If somebody has 100,000 Leo, now they have $1,000,000. $10 Leo puts Leo at about 180 million. That's a nothing company. It's a nothing digital platform. 180 million. That's nothing. I mean, who the hell uses Snapchat? I don't know anybody. But you look up Snapchat. I bet that's worth many billions with a B. So, I've done this from time to time. Look at different market caps of stuff around, toying with numbers, and it's like you start to look at this stuff, and it's like, okay, at 250 million, you start to look at these companies like I've never even heard of them. Well, no, you won't, because they're nothing companies.
It's like
So
Instagram is part of Meta, right? Or
yeah, that was a hell of a buy. Mark Zuckerberg bought that for $1 billion, and yeah, Meta is Instagram and WhatsApp. They're
WhatsApp is under that umbrella as well.
Yeah, I don't know if that one was bought or if that one was created, but that may have been created by Meta. But that may have been outside, and he bought that one too. I don't know, but he definitely purchased Instagram. So I mean, it's. But getting back to the point, it's what are you willing to do for this money? And that's what it comes down to. Well, I'm talking about Leo on Twitter. Well, that doesn't do any fucking good. Why is somebody going to use Threads when they're on Twitter? Seriously, think about that. Why would you use Threads if you're on Twitter? If you like Twitter, you use Twitter. Why the hell are you going to switch? Why? Twitter works. All your contacts are there. The people you follow there. You get your information. You get your news. You get your entertainment. You get the sports. You get the score of your favorite sports team. You get highlights. You see the home run or the touchdown or the slam dunk. You find out when people die. Why the hell are they going to come over to Threads? They're not. So stop being an idiot. And by the way, at the same time, in this AI age, in this age of data is the new oil, which isn't exactly an accurate statement, you're giving all your data to Elon. I mean, I'm sure he's very appreciative. Hope he says thank you. But you're not doing anything with the Hive database. So, I mean, it all comes back to the basic of understanding of network theory, network architecture, and I'm not talking necessarily from the technical standpoint. Network effects and how it's more than just, more users. Digital platform business models, digital platform integration, layering. This is something everybody on Leo should be doing. They should be doing something to layer something. I don't give a crap if it's recipes. I don't give a crap if it's knitting. I don't give a crap if it's, sneakers throughout the years. Classic cars. I don't care. What are you doing? What are you doing to give people stuff to interact with?
Yesterday was like the most content I put up there in a while, and then I put some recipes from Rachel Ray show, and
yeah, I mean, that shit's not my thing, but that shit's a lot of people's thing, and it's important to get that stuff up there. It's important to have that stuff percolating. It's important to have that stuff in the library, and then it can be shared. It can be rethreaded. It can be, a lot of stuff can be done. And this is where we go back to what we talked about a few weeks ago with the music room, the party room. We have all that data. And the easiest way to put stuff in the party room is to take the music on Leo threads that were already in there, just grab the URL and drop it in the party room. And guess what? Now you're throwing the person's thread up. Your thread is the person's thread. Actually, they're two separate threads, but you're embedding the thread in your thread. And who shows up there? Me. Who shows up there? Boomer Tunes. Who shows up there?
Might possibly.
Might possibly Andersino. I mean, there's a handful of people. Sean NFT. There's a handful of people who put up this stuff, and it shows up there, and it's just constantly being repurposed, and it's creating more activity, more engagement, and then when you take a thread, I take all my threads when I go into the party room. If I'm putting up Madonna, I'll hashtag Madonna, and then I'll just put the Madonna song. So now the thread that I created in the party room has the thread hashtag. So ultimately, that'll be found with Madonna through the Leo AI, hopefully, and through search and through recommend and all that other stuff. Another way to get to that song. That's what it takes, and this is natural. This is what I think I mentioned this to you in the past, but what this has done, what did synthetic networks, artificial networks have done, is it allowed these researchers to map out how these digital networks form and then overlay them against nature, against economics, against everything, and you can look at the economy in the same manner. You can look at the human body and different things in the human body in the same manner. You can look at species in the same manner. You can look at all this stuff in the same manner. And it ends up following a very predictable curve. And one of the things that ends up resulting is the long tail, or what they call the power curve distribution. And I don't know if you've seen that, but if you look up long tail, it basically is, if you just have a curve that goes like this.
Oh yeah, okay.
And so the classic example is Amazon. Amazon will have at the left-hand side, which has the highest on the left-hand side, it has a few titles that sell the most copies.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get a drop off, and then you go out this way. And the further out you go, the less copies those titles sell. But see, Amazon could do something that Barnes and Noble couldn't. Amazon could add those books that sold 5 copies, 10 copies, 1 copy a month, because just add another page to the website. Barnes and Noble and other physical bookstores can only fit so many titles in their bookstore.
Right.
So they were limited. But networks do the same thing. This is why you have the long tail in everything. This is why the idea of trying to level everything out doesn't work. Because you go on Twitter, there is going to be somebody who has a lot more followers. See, on Twitter, I'm way out on the end of the tag. I'm not a power user on Twitter. I'm not followed by many people. I don't do much on there. But even if I did, what would I have? Maybe 1,000 followers? That's nothing. I'm not going to get 300 million like Elon, or a couple hundred million like Barack Obama or Donald Trump, or, whomever, Joe Rogan or whoever,
Mm-hmm.
these power users. I'm not going to do that. It's not going to happen. So, it's the same thing on YouTube. Who makes the bulk of the money? Mr. Beast. Who's after Mr. Beast? Whoever's number 2 is making the bulk of the money. The average person who even monetizes on YouTube, what do they get? Nothing. Very little. Few pennies here and there. And then most people, shit they put on YouTube isn't even monetized. So this goes throughout. Look at athletes. You look at let's take NBA players. Take the worst NBA player there is. He is still better than 99.99% of the people who ever picked up a basketball. He's better than all the college players who didn't play 1 second of professional basketball, better than all the high school players, better than all the street players, better than everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So even if he's the worst in the NBA, He's better than 99.99%.
Wow.
Let alone the top player. But that's just how it works out. And that's how these networks work out. And this is where, if you look in research, Reed's law and Metcalfe's law, the mistake both of them made is they thought every node, which is a connection on a system,
Mm-hmm.
all of them are equal. They're not. And what social media platforms have taught us is, and the first one they looked at was Facebook. There were power users on Facebook. They were
Uh-huh.
hubs. They had the most followers. They had the most activity. They had the most engagement. And because of that, guess what? It became a circular feedback, because as more people joined Facebook, guess who they would do? They would follow this person. So it becomes a self-perpetuating feedback loop. Now, what happens when that person leaves Facebook? It's a lot different than when I leave Facebook. I mean, I'm not on Facebook, but let's take Twitter. If I don't know who's big other than Elon, but let's take Joe Rogan. I don't know if he's a big Twitter guy, but let's say Joe Rogan had 100 million followers. What's more detrimental, or Tucker Carlson? Tucker Carlson probably has a lot of followers. What's more detrimental to Twitter? Me leaving or Tucker Carlson leaving?
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
me leaving, they don't even know I'm there to begin with. It doesn't matter. Me and my 100 followers or whatever the hell I have, who cares? But if Tucker Carlson leaves, if Joe Rogan leaves, if whoever has hundreds of millions of followers, that's a big deal. So now, if we flip this back to Hive, who are the major influencers on Hive?
You.
Who are the major influencers on Hive, and where are they? They're over on Twitter. Think about it. They're over on fucking Twitter or on Discord. Do you see them on Hive? Do you see them? Go look at their accounts. Do you see them commenting? I mean, they may throw up a blog post, but they're all over Twitter. They're all over. They're sitting in Discord.
Well, Mark Cuban's another one over there on Twitter, I think.
Okay, yeah, maybe Cuban has hundreds of millions of followers. I don't know. I'm just throwing out names. But
Mhm.
whoever, the point being, Mark Cuban leaves Twitter. I leave Twitter. They're not even going to notice me leaving. Nobody noticed me. Nobody cares. But that's the point. So not all nodes are the same value. And it's the same thing with the internet. Cloudflare goes down, half the world's internet goes down. Joe's Plumbing's blog his server goes down for Joe's Plumbing. Okay, Joe and his customers are pissed off, but nobody cares. LEO goes down, nobody cares. In proportion, relatively speaking,
Right,
nobody
right.
cares because, most people on the internet are not on LEO, so they don't care. Now, Facebook goes down, Google goes down, then you have major news. So that's why these nodes are not the same. That's why all nodes are different sizes. They're hubs. And that's the key to understanding is these hubs on LEO, on Hive, and what are you doing? And if the hubs are sitting up and leaving, and as I said, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. So the problem is like they call me Dan, hangs out on Twitter. Do you think people from Hive Cuba are going to hang out on Twitter or on Hive? They're going to hang out on Twitter because that's where Dan is. Do you
Right.
think all the Three Speak people are going to hang out on Hive, or they're going to be on Twitter? They're going to be on Twitter because that's where Dan and Starkers are. See, this is what happens when your hubs leave. If Elon suddenly said, I own X and I got a different marketing plan. I am going to increase the marketing of X by, if you want to talk to me, I'll be over on Facebook. And if Elon jumped over to Facebook, what would that do to X? I mean, it's, and I mean, they're not exactly the same premise, so maybe people wouldn't jump over, but it's the same concept. It's like, would Elon go and jump on X? No. If his CEO said, I'm going to tell everybody to go to Facebook and talk about X, he'd fire that person. He'd chicane her right on the spot, and he should. But this is the mindset of what we have on Hive. This is the mindset of the people who are actually building and developing these digital platforms. And it's like, You're not even adding any value to your
What
own
are
platform.
you pulling them to? What are you trying to? I mean,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We need to market Hive. What the fuck are you marketing? What the hell are you marketing? Seriously, what are you marketing? Marketing 101. What is your unique service proposition? USP, it was called in the older days.
uh-huh.
I'm sure they changed the acronym over time. But when I went to school and when I first got into sales and marketing, when we designed a strategy, first thing we did was what is the USP? What is different about us? What are we offering? And that's where we'll build the marketing platform. We can't talk tactics, you know, which
No
was
features.
yeah, you can't talk tactics, you can't talk marketing strategy, you can't talk any of that to get your USP. So we had to decide a USP about the company, about the product, about the marketplace, about service, whatever it was. We had to figure that out and then design the plan around that. What the hell are you going to market with Hive? What's your USP? Well, we have threads. So you're going to market that on Twitter and tell people to come use threads when they're on Twitter? That's stupid. That's like saying, well, why don't you use YouTube? Go to YouTube and promote three speak, which people are doing. It's like, you think anybody's going to do that? No. So it's just lunacy. It's lunacy, and it's because people do not understand the basics of digital platforms, digital platform business models, and network theory. I bet if you ask all these people about this, they'd have no clue.
Well, I didn't know anything about it really until I, listened to you talk about it.
Yeah, but now that I talk about it in these words in this context, do you see what I've been doing for the last 6 damn months? I mean, it's fucking layering, and unfortunately, there's only like 3 or 4 of us doing it consistently. And when I say consistently, I mean keep at it. Some people started doing stuff for 3 minutes and they quit, which that's typical too. Going back to Jeremy Irons, the percentages are always the same. Why? The masses are slugs. That's just the reality of the situation. Um, so what do you want? What are you doing? And again, this isn't you. This is the
Right,
general
right.
you, the plural you. What are you doing? It's simple. There's enough evidence out there if you do some research that if you do this stuff over the course of time, it builds value. We need more users. And again, Cal may just end up backing into it. The Maya thing was a great call. I tip my hat on that. And now you have something at least to promote. But see, now everybody's talking about the token price going up. Who gives a shit? Oh well,
Why?
that's to get people excited. Who gives a shit? That means you're a dumbass because you don't understand markets. The price can go down just as easily as it goes up. Now, I'm not saying it's going to, but who gives a shit? If you're hanging your hat on token prices going up, that's foolishness. That's not building a business.
I still see so many people posting charts and waiting for the Bitcoin halving, and I'm like, why are you posting this stuff here? It's not even going to be the same in later in the day as it is now.
Well, show me in the last 48 hours. Show me in the last 2 months. You don't have to go 48 hours. Last 2 months, how many times Elon Musk has talked about the stock price of Twitter, of Tesla? Go talk, go and research whatever the guy's name is at Microsoft. I forget his name.
Bill Gates.
No, not him. He's been
No,
out. I forget his name, but go look up and find out how many times he's talked about it. Go look up and see Zuckerberg, how many times the last 2 months he's talked about stock price. People running companies don't talk about stock price. They'll talk about sales. They'll talk about revenues. They'll Talk about profits, they'll talk about income, they'll talk about strategy, they'll talk about growth, they'll talk about whatever, they'll talk about subscribers, all that crap. But they don't talk about stock price. Why? It means nothing. It doesn't matter. It's not a reflection of what they are doing. And this is the problem with crypto. You have a bunch of marketing morons, and I wrote about this. Most of these people don't belong in the market because they the second the bear market hits, they start saying, "I'm so depressed I can't get out of bed." You're a fucking idiot. You don't belong in the market because now you are insane. If you think markets only go up, you are insane because that is not reality. Markets go up, markets go down. That's what they do. They don't only go up. Even if it's a long-term upward trend, there will be ups and downs. So it's like if you sit there and you say, well, if things are going down, I'm getting depressed or I'm getting upset. You are emotionally weak. You have no business being in the market. You cannot handle it. You do not have the emotional intelligence, not the intellectual intelligence. A lot of these people are smart, but you don't have the emotional intelligence for the market because if you take it personal, if you get upset, if you get depressed, go buy an index fund. Not even that. Go buy a bond that pays the yield because your index fund is going to go up or down depending on what you're into also. That's just the way it is. So, and crypto is even worse because it's volatile.
Mm-hmm.
But, these are the people who talk like they know what's going on. And it's like, unfortunately, they're the ones who people listen to. It's like, you're a fucking idiot. And I sound very arrogant. I sound very high horseish, but I know what the fuck I'm talking about. I've researched this stuff. I've been involved with markets for 30 years. I've made some money in markets and I've lost money in markets. So I understand how they work. And if you think everything's going to be rosy and you're going to promote a project based upon the market's a bunch of fools. It's driven by fear and greed. Hell, there's even fear and greed indexes out there. So, but that's what you have. Oh, the price of hive's going up.
And tomorrow it could go down again. And later on today, it could go down again. I mean, don't you have anything else to focus on?
No, they don't. They don't. It's the green candle gang. That's what it is. The green candle people. And it's only green candle. That's all they care about. And they claim they're involved in a project. They don't give a shit about the project. They only want green candles. So
okay, this was another good talk, and we're just about at the hour. I wish we would have gotten a threadcast to look at.
Oh, well, it's technical difficulties. So hopefully,
it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, you grin and bear a lot of this stuff because it's not easy. But at a certain point in time, the quality of the product has to improve. Just that simple.
Well, I don't let it make me nuts. Like, if it's not working, I just go and find something else to do and come back later.
Well, yeah, that's a sensible thing. It's I mean, over the last few months, there's been a lot of issues, and I've always found ways around it because I've always had other things to do. And I mean, unless the site's totally down because of of nodes, there's always something working. Okay, maybe Threads is screwing up, but I can go use Longform, or Longform's screwing up, I can go use Threads. There's always stuff to do.
Well, everybody, we'll see you here again next Monday night. And thank you again, Task, for coming on tonight.
Will
I,
do.
I gotta put Margin Call on my list of movies to check out.
Yes, watch that before next show. You'll enjoy it. It's a good film. But
Yeah, I like Jeremy Irons anyway.
yeah, he's powerful. He's very powerful in that one.
Okay, well, good night, everyone.
Ciao.